Hola, hola, it's Benko. I'm here with Mariana.
Hola.
So I have a couple questions for you today.
Okay.
And I think the first one I want to start off
Échalas.
is, who is Mariana? Who is that?
Dude, that's hard. Like, you started with like the most difficult question. Come on. Why don't you ask me about my horoscope or something like that? Then it's easier. Okay. What's Mariana? Who's Mariana? That's the question. So, hola internet. This is Mariana. Mariana is a woman that was born and raised in Mexico City. I usually don't like going straight to my profession because I think that it's too cheesy. Todos siempre dicen su profesión. So I would say that Mariana is just a human being that loves listening to music, that loves reading books and traveling the world, a pretty curious person. And also a little bit of a troublemaker, fire starter, person that loves to feel the rush of life. Algo por ahí, sí.
Now, is that because of where you are from, or what collectively brings that fire into all these little moments in your experience of yourself?
Puede ser porque soy mexicana. I feel that like being Mexican has something related to that. I also, so in my personal story, I don't want to get super dark, but in my personal story, I have a strong relationship with death, and I have experienced a lot of loss in my life. So, when you experience that shit, I feel that you start to live, you know, more in a more intense way, or in a more and intense on both sides. I would say that like intense in the sense of trying to live experiences in the most expansivo, de la forma más expansiva and to get excited, of course, but also in the other side, you also crave like to be in complete silence and like to be super into yourself and inside of you and in your feelings. So I think that that's why I'm a troublemaker and I'm a little bit intense, because in my personal experience, like I have seen some stuff, so I have wounds from war, and and I love being alive. I love being alive. That's why.
And with that, how do you feel like that incorporates into the things that you create as an artist? And I know that you're not an artist of a singular medium, and so also dive into the multiple mediums that you play in as the artist yourself.
Here's the thing: if I don't create, I overthink. It's like that. Like for me, I discovered from a really young age that just doodling and listening to music and trying to learn new things, to play instruments, to whatever, just disconnect me from my mind and connects me more with my heart. And I believe that it's really important when you are experimenting things in life to feel the emotions, not to think about them a lot, not to rationalize your emotions a lot, because that could be that's a trap also. Like therapy is amazing and I love therapy, don't take me wrong, like my mom and my dad both are psychologists, but I discovered that for me it's easier just to feel with my heart and with my emotions, and I feel better doing art, and that's why I do it, because I don't know any other way to stop my fucking overthinking.
It's good that you say that, because what most people don't realize is the definition of emotions themselves, right? It's energy in motion. hence why emotions. And you have such a grasp on being able to feel it, cultivate it, and then push it in a direction that where most people, when they feel it, they tense up, right?
Yeah.
And
Because come on, like no one wants to feel something that it's not pleasure, you know? Like okay, of course we want to be happy and to feel the good emotions, but when the bad emotions just like start to build up in your body, it's like, fuck, I don't want this. Like, can I just distract me with something, you know? And I distract myself with art.
I love that.
But also, if you distract yourself from rationalizing what you're feeling, you start to feel it too. You know, like with me, when I paint, when I paint, I would think about or also when I design too in the computer. And then, for example, math, I would be fucking mad with the medium for the first 10 minutes, you know, we'll be mad like, this fucking shit is you know?
But you have to get that out, right?
But I get it out. And
Because
after that, like, oh my God, back to reality. Okay, this is the Mariana I like, amazing.
you come back to soy, and in essence of that, you're not running around applying that emotion to other people, right? You're not taking that anger on your mother or your father or a cousin or a friend, because you're able to express it outwards, and then you go, great, cool. Let me now reapproach this situation in a different manner.
Yeah, for sure. You learn how to regulate yourself. Like, of course, sometimes I do it. You know, we are humans.
I mean, yeah, right. You sometimes in the heat of the moment, you're just
Exactly.
like, oh, fuck you, or yeah, no.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. For me, spending time alone when I'm feeling like shit is really important to regulate myself.
That's good, because now that reminds me, because if you're not, you become the Pedro en tu tortas.
El perro de las dos tortas. Yes.
One more time.
The dog of the two tortas.
But in Spanish.
El perro de las dos
El
tortas.
Pedro.
Perro.
Mm-hmm.
The is difficult. Rrr.
Pedro.
Perro.
Pedro.
No, with that.
Pedro.
Perro.
Perro.
Like that.
The tongue stops.
El perro de las dos tortas. You
El
can say
Pedro.
the dog of the dog of las dos tortas.
The dog of de las tortas. it's gonna get there. We're gonna get there one day. But within that experience is you're not stagnant in this, and which is great, because I feel like a lot of people who look at creatives always go, oh, I envy that you can do that. I envy that you can paint. I envy that you can do this. But essentially,
no, I'm like, I give you my life. Come on, like, just come to these shoes and leave this fucking shit, like all this mess. Like, I think that you would even paint better than me, you know.
But that's the thing,
and
is
it's
with
not
the
that I'm
envy.
like, oh, poor Mariana, she's a bit. No, it's just like, I don't know. I feel that everyone has a talent, and everyone, maybe this is super delusional for me, but like, I truly believe that every human being in this planet has a special talent. It's just that you have to develop it. You have to pay attention to the things you like.
I have one of these biggest sayings where everything is art, and art is not defined by painting, singing. It is changing what was to what can be, right? And that is anything. That is from talking to someone, that is from making food. That's just even putting on your clothes, because think about it. What you present yourself to be outside of the world can either inspire someone or make someone feel in disgust.
100%.
Now, I do want to jump into how many languages do you speak, and how do the languages affect your perception on your work? Coming from your younger self, did you already have two languages, and were you growing up learning two, or did you also had to build on that?
So I would say that I speak Spanish and English. I try to learn Italian, so sometimes I know some Italian words. Come on, it's easy. It's kind of Spanish.
Yes, yeah.
But here's the thing: I can speak Spanish like someone from Spain, like someone from Mexico, and like someone from Argentina. That's like a hidden.
So you're able to,
like, because it's Spanish, I know, but those Spanish are really different from the one we speak in Mexico. So I think that we should consider speaking other
dialects.
Other dialects or variations of your own language should count. Anyway, my experience speaking English. So here in Mexico, I think that we are just on the other side of the U.S., and you grow just looking through that fence, thinking like, oh, the grass is greener over there. One day I'm gonna go there, and this story, it's interesting that you can hear this story from people that maybe they are from really humble origins and they want to cross the border because here in Mexico it's difficult for them to make a living. Or you can also hear it from someone like me, from a more educated and privileged background. We're always looking over there. Why? I don't know, because you have good burgers, I guess.
good burgers, but I don't know about the healthcare.
You have good burgers. You have nice fries. You don't have a lot of bumps in your streets as we have here. But yeah, it's something aspirational. So in school they teach you English. But I wouldn't say that I was super fluent in English, even if I was trying to speak English since I was like in kindergarten. I think that I got into English maybe in my teenager years, listening to punk rock songs.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I want to understand this, what is this? So I would translate, and after that, I don't know, I just started to consume American culture because it was flashy, it was all around me, like everyone in school will speak about the American and celebrities and pop culture. So I would start to consume television in English and movies. And then when I started my career as an entrepreneur, like America is a land of opportunities. And so I had to level up my English game. And I was like, dude, I need to fucking speak really fluent because I want them to understand me, because I think that we have good ideas. So it's just like a language barrier, a cultural barrier, but I think that if I practice, I'm gonna make those motherfuckers listen to me. Because, so when you get fluent, and here I'm not gonna make it about speaking English, I'm gonna make it about speaking fluent Argentinian Spanish. So last year, I spent a lot of time in Argentina, and dude, they fucking speak another sort of Spanish. Like the first day I was like freaked out, like what is this like kind of Italian, weird, aggressive Spanish that I don't understand. And after a couple of months of getting like de meterme en la cultura, getting into the culture, and I started to understand everything, that was a huge influence in my art, like a huge. For example, they have this thing called lunfardo. Lunfardo, have you heard about that?
No.
Okay, lunfardo is the language that the tangueros, the people that make tango, used to speak. And it's like a hidden or a cryptic, it's a cryptic language. And basically what they do is that they do a switcheroo in the words. So they would say the last syllabus as the first one. For example, instead of saying Japón, they would say Ponja.
Interesting.
Yes. Or, yeah, so for example, that thing for me was, this is fucking cool. Like, I need to, like, this is fucking cool. I need to make, like, mixed languages in my art. I need to do cryptic shit. This is super interesting. When you say something that, like, just a couple of people or a small group understands, it gets interesting. So, yeah, I think that when you are exposing yourself to other languages, you get inspiration because you can get to appreciate them from another position. With German was the same. Like the first time I was in Berlin, I was impressed of how fucking long
The words are.
words were. You know, and I was like, dude, now I understand why they are fucking good at typography. Like why German designers are really good at typography. They need to fit these fucking giant words into a small space. Of course, they're going to be great at kerning. So yeah, I think that language. I love languages. I wish I could learn more, but sometimes I'm kind of lazy. You know, I'm like.
But it's also the environment in which you have to practice, right?
Yeah.
You have to constantly be placed in something in order to pick up these circumstances. You know, as you said. What I have noticed, especially in my experience, is the difference between when English becomes your second language is the proximity towards how close you are to either wealth within the country in itself or your proximity to the US or other English-speaking countries. Because then you're not really going to be using it on a day-to-day basis. Is what I've noticed is more southern countries when their English is somewhat not as important to them because again the proximity between Mexico and the US versus like some Brazilians that I've met they've mostly focused on Portuguese because
I love Brazilians like because they don't need anyone, you know, like
they're chilling,
loving their amazing country with like this booming economy because they are allied with a lot of natural resources, with a lot of culture. They're fucking great musicians. Like they're living their best.
What is actually a funny fact is Brazil is not the only country in the world, excluding Portugal, that speaks Portuguese. It's actually an African country. Can't remember the top of my name, but I had met this guy, and his approach to Portuguese is completely different. You know, being from Africa and being a colonized country is, you know, you do have your different ways of speaking just this one singular language. And it's the same thing with English, right? Is, you know, you jumped to Argentina, and you're like, okay, great. This is something completely different from what I'm used to. You have the same thing where in English is if you're jumping to the UK. That's like 30 different versions of English in itself.
And if you go to Ireland or
Ireland and Australia, the Aussies.
Oh my God, yeah. So I have a really good friend that he's Aussie, and I actually need to put him like a lot of attention for like 10 minutes, but like a lot of attention to get all the words. And then I don't know what happens in my brain. I just like make the switcheroo or I just, it's like when you have a lot of noise in a picture, you know, at first it's like that, but then, I don't know, after 10 minutes it starts to get like clear. It's weird.
After a while, because then you hear the same word.
Yeah.
With Aussies, you'll always find an Aussie somewhere on this planet. I don't think I've ever been in a country and I've never ran into an Aussie. But it also depends on what part of Australia they're from, because then the accent starts getting thicker, and the words that they would say in what I've realized in most countries when they're learning English, I think the biggest ones is always from the U.S. Right? We're the ones that are kind of pushing out the biggest form of media, and so people are like, okay, this is the English that I'm going to learn. But then when you go to London, or you happen to bump into an Aussie or a Kiwi, which is people from New Zealand, you're like, whoa, wait, hold on, this is not what I'm used to. This is a whole different level of English that I've never heard. But it'll happen the same way to native English speakers, because you'll look at it and you're like, what's that word for that? And so it's interesting to see that you'll have that same aspect for Spanish, and that noticing coming from a Puerto Rican background, there's certain things that they're different, but it's interesting to have that experience that we're into this aggressive nature of Spanish. No, I absolutely love that.
Yeah, and also it's interesting. Like for example, in Argentina, it's because Argentina is a country of immigrants, like a lot of Italians. So their Spanish is like Italian. It's weird, and they use a lot of Italian words into their Spanish, and it's very interesting. Yeah.
I could see that where it is an aspect of the Second World War and people, leaving Italy and Germany and having to integrate that. Especially Germans with their already aggressive language and how strict it is. I love them, but sometimes I don't need it to be that literal. But now with
for me they are aliens. Like I love them. Like actually, like one of my cousins, she's married with a amazing guy from Berlin, and I love them. It's just that like maybe I'm too warm. Or
it's
maybe
different. It becomes a cultural difference, and I have learned this because I actually have a family member who was married. He's completely departed from this world, and so she lives in the south of Germany, and that's what got me like so intrigued about Germany. It was like, oh my gosh, what is this? Come to find out, my abuela was the first one out of all of us to go to Almeria, and I was just like, oh, okay, great. I now need to get there one day, and it became this like infatuation for me. But the stark differences is I think we blend so well. Is they are the complete opposite spectrum of what it means to be Latin. As Latins, we're so expressive, we're so this.
And you know what I love about Germans? How practical they are.
100%. And that's why we work so well.
It's super
comparatively
easy to have a German friend. It's super easy to be in a German city. Sometimes they're rude. Like, and I don't want to generalize, but like for me, for example, Berlin, like the first time I went there, it was a difficult city for me, Everyone was shouting at me, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm sorry. Why are you saying you're sorry? I don't know, because you're mad with me. That was my experience. I get used to it. Then I was like, okay, this is how it works here.
Yeah. I mean, it's, and I love their humor because sometimes they're straightforward, and like, once you understand that, like at this point you can say what's on your mind rather than having to, in so many other languages you're beating around the bush, right, to get to the point. I remember I was with someone and I was like, I don't really feel like eating, and they were like, you're not a fat bitch. So like, and it's just like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. that's a bit direct, don't you think? So it's just like but it's funny enough because it's like once you understand that, it's like, oh, you're not really trying to hurt my feelings, because if they are, then they would intentionally say it, and you would know at that point. But I just I find it so comical, and I do want to get to the point where now with this experience that you've had, how has it integrated into your art, and what emotions are you exploring now in this moment from the entirety of your life?
So, as I started saying that, like, death is something that has been around me since I was a kid. So, I like those topics that people want to hide because they're uncomfortable. I love that confrontation, but as a daughter of psychologists, in a safe space. So That's why I like painting trash and painting things that are like objects that are not particularly beautiful or important or impressive, but are just like common and mundane and because I feel that when you connect with something that it's just like a remain, is that the way you say desperdicio, remains?
As in the after the
thing that
yeah,
just,
the remains of
the remains,
a
lo
body.
que queda.
Yes, sí, sí,
Exactly,
sí, sí, sí.
exactly. So when you get used to interact with the remains of whatever, of existence, of flowers, of your delivery fast food you didn't finish. When you get used to have a relationship with those remains or with the things that you don't like, I believe that you grow and you start to see life with in a more optimistic way. So that's why I like those topics.
I see.
Because when you actually experience that nothing is perfect, then you start to enjoy the imperfection of life. So I feel I'm attracted to those topics. Also, I'm really attracted to technology because I don't know, since I was a kid, I remember that my mom and my dad, like, they took me to Best Buy to buy my computer. And
do you remember what computer it was?
Yeah, it was an Acer Aspire 4000. I remember it like sharp. It's a black, like a black computer. Really, really cool. So it was back in the 90s, and dude, I used to be there all day, just like learning shit and doing stuff and printing whatever. And my mom and dad would put me rules for the television, but with the computer I was completely free. Like, no, you can stay in the computer whatever time you want. So, my God, I would be in the computer all day, every day for
hours.
years, you know. And so when I'm in the computer, I connect a lot with that feeling of home, of like being in my room as a kid.
I love that.
Like, even for example, with my friends, I have a lot of friends that I love just, chatting with them, because
MySpace, Facebook.
Yeah, I went through all of that.
All
shit,
of it.
like Messenger, MySpace. Like I have friends like even like Tavo. He's my friend from MySpace. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And for me, like, the internet has been like the most powerful tool to have fun, and to create and to put my art outside and to make friends, and like, so I'm chronically online since, I don't know, 1999, I don't know.
I love that, because now that you say that, and you have this backstory on your trademark, Hello Internet, it now ties in and it makes more sense of like how that became, your trademark saying when you introduce yourself in every video.
Internet. Because, and here's the thing. Now being an internet person is something cool. Everyone wants to have millions of followers on TikTok just because of dancing. But back in the day, we were doing the hardcore shit, like
coding your own MySpace page,
exactly.
Reaching out to the random names.
We are the fucking soldiers of the internet, like building the culture. So, I love it. Like, I love that now, like, we have everything in our phones and we are connected. And like, we were speaking about traveling. Like, a lot of my friends, they don't live in Mexico City, but I feel that we are close because we have our phones, So I love internet culture. I love technology, and every time a new technology a new wave of technology will come, I would be super curious and try to do something with it related to art and to maybe I say I'm an artist, but what I really love and like being completely honest and transparent is that I love playing.
Cool.
That's why I feel that I hide myself in the mask of an artist or of a designer. Because if I'm an artist, if I'm a designer, I have the permission to play.
To be a kid again.
To be a kid, to connect with that feeling of being a kid. So that's
love
why I
that.
love the fucking internet, because I just feel like I'm a kid. So I could be working the computer all day, and I don't feel like, oh my god, I hate my life. No, it's like, dude, I'm creating cool shit with my laptop. Come, look at this. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. And I want to pick out is, you know, through everything that you have spoken about, I've noticed that you said a lot of family, a lot of friends have been somewhat the foundation and integration in the work that you create. And so, how do your relationships have an effect on the work that you make and the work that you want to reflect back out to the world?
I think that my work is about my relationships with people. Like, you can, if you see the things I create, maybe you would see a lot of objects and inanimate things, but all those things, they belong to someone. They remind me something about someone. And I don't know, I think it's pretty human, or maybe it's my culture, maybe, because we're pretty nostalgic. No? In Mexico, we have, I don't know if you have experienced like the connection we have with death. We have the El Día de los Muertos, and we celebrate death, and like we even do these ofrendas, and like the muertos will come in November, and we hang out with their spirits and drink some tequilas, and like we don't see. Once I was telling this to a Korean girl, and she was like, "What the fuck are you saying? Like that's really scary."
I think
We have this huge relationship with nostalgia. So my work is full of the people I love, of my people. It's weird also because sometimes the people that used to be your people, they are not your people anymore. But for me, it's beautiful how in the past I took the decision to immortalize that relationship or that moment, and things change, life goes on, and maybe they are not part of my life anymore, but
they still had a place in it.
But they have a place in it. And it's beautiful.
And I think that's something culturally so beautiful. Because comparatively, as I've seen around the world and how people view death, it's such a fear, right? And within Mexican culture and having that nostalgia, I think can really teach the rest of the world the importance of every single present moment that you have with the person.
Yeah.
Because for you, it's not like, oh, so sad that this person died. It's more of, I got to experience this person in this life. And now that they're past, I get to reminisce on all the nostalgic moments that we had, and that I knew that I put in the energy and moment to be present with that person. Whereas coming from a US culture is, oh my gosh, someone died, oh that sucks. And then everyone just is so, it's just so depressing, personally, right? And people miss that sense of nostalgia and aspect of that.
Yeah, and
Mariana, ahorita se calentó mi cámara y te esperaron.
okay, good. Goody. Sí, estamos locos por los muertos. But it's I don't know, like dude, if I show you, I can give you footage, like. So my mom and my dad, sorry, he's from a place in Mexico, Michoacan, where they literally adore, like, death. And since I was a kid, I used to be in the cemetery every 2 de November, 2 of November, staying the whole night with drunk adults, singing songs, singing really nostalgic songs. They were drinking mezcal and tequila and singing to the people that were their muertos. And that marks you.
So I think it's such a beautiful reminder of where you come from and what, you know, who this person meant to this person. You know, you get to share those stories and like you get to really keep that person alive. Do you ever turn personal experiences into your work?
Yeah, all the time.
What is the last personal experience that you feel like right now is you're holding on to and you know that you have to express it?
So this is pretty personal, and I'm good. I'm good at telling it, and I'm good with it, and like I have been doing my process. But I just do that disclaimer because it can be
Triggering,
strong. So my mom passed away in Christmas, like 3 months ago.
my condolences.
Thank you. She was awesome, and for me, it was really difficult to explain the way I was feeling, like to explain my loss. So I decided to write a movie, like a movie script.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote a full movie script on what I was experiencing in the process of losing her. And it was intense. Like I just sat down, like, okay, I'm not a script writer, you know, like I don't have any background on writing, on cinematography or whatever. Like I don't have that. But in times of AI, you can just chat GPT everything, you know, well, plug everything. And so I got a little bit of training, like 10 minutes training myself on script writing with Claude, and after that, I was just like crazy typing. I got the script in like 3 or 4 days, just like fucking getting out what I was experiencing. So I was just like fully focused on writing down all the things that happened to me because I didn't want to forget the memory. I was really afraid of losing the memory and of losing the exact point of view I had about losing my mom at that time. So for me it was like, I'm not gonna do a painting because that's too abstract. I'm gonna lose the substance. I need a medium that can describe everything that I experienced. And then, when I had the first draft, I was like, dude, this is too sad. Okay, I'm gonna do a revamp of this script, but now I'm gonna put fiction. And like the story of losing my mom is just a side story that it's happening in another space.
Okay.
Yeah, so I wrote that, and it was super fun. Like I even sent it to a couple of friends that they are filmmakers, and they told me like, you have something really powerful here. Like, keep it up. Of course, it needs improvement. You're not like you're using fucking ChatGPT to write a movie, but you're getting in a right path.
You're in the starting phase. You took the baby steps. You know?
Yeah.
And again, I think, as I said before, you know, you're not stuck and stagnant. You know, you're still walking in a direction, and I think you've chosen your torta. So
See?
So I love that, and thank you for sharing that. And I'm definitely looking forward to what that becomes.
Imagine that. Like, what if, like, yeah, I love being delusional, So I'm like, dude, maybe this is going to get real. Like, maybe one day you would see like this movie, and that excites me a lot.
I don't do maybes. I just do.
You just do.
And so
amazing.
Once I hear something, for me, my reality is people will always call me delusional, right? But I am a firm believer that if I say it's gonna happen, I do not care what gets in my way. It's gonna happen. End of story. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
And someone will see it, and that's a success in itself.
And you know what else? Like I would add to that kind of mentality. So once my therapist told me this, like, Mariana, imagine the world works like this. We are all icebergs, okay, floating in the sea. And the thing is that within the iceberg, you just see what is on the top. You don't see what's
Everything's underneath.
all the things underneath. And if you want your dreams to come true, if you want to experience, like if you want other people to experience your true self, you need to do a fucking really hard work. You need to go all the way down the iceberg, take all the crap, all the things that you don't like, but also all the things that make you vulnerable, like your dreams and the things you like. You have to take them from the bottom outside. And once you put them outside, other people can connect, other people can understand you, other people can even help you to do the things you need or push you. But if you don't do the hard work of being vulnerable and going down the iceberg and grab your vulnerabilities and put them outside, it's very difficult that things will happen. And that shit just like rewired my brain. Like, I feel that that's one of the most powerful things that someone teach me. Because, yes, of course, that's why we fight. That's why humans, we fight all the time. That's why we have too much trouble. Because it's difficult to be vulnerable and to take from the iceberg, like from the depth of our vulnerability, the hard stuff, and put it outside and just be true to ourselves. It's really difficult and it's really frightening.
I love doing it though.
Yeah.
Because it scares people. Think about that. And how many times people go, oh my gosh, this is too much.
Like, I'm gonna tell you something that, because I could see how people, how when you are pretty vulnerable, people can get like shocked. But yeah, it's powerful.
I love that. Well, thank you for sharing all of that. I appreciate you.
I love it. I could speak for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Once again, I definitely want to let the people reintroduce yourself with your trademark. So that's what you say. Hello.
You're just like, do you remember this episode of The Simpsons when Bart has a saying in Spanish? In this episode, Bart was El Niño Yo No Fui, and people will tell him like, "Hey, Niño Yo No Fui, like say your words, dilo tuyo, Niño Yo No Fui." I feel like that, like, on the internet. Thank you so much for this conversation. If you want me to close this space, I would have to say, adios, internet.
I love that. All right, well, we'll end it there. Amazing. It's perfect.
Adiós, internet, se logró.